Welcome to lesson 31. This is sum of the interior angles of a rectangle and a triangle. And by sum, I mean S-U-M, addition. When you add the angles in a rectangle, what do you get? When you add the angles in a triangle, what do you get? And up on the board I have drawn a rectangle. That's the first one we're going to take a look at. And by very definition, a rectangle has two sets of parallel lines, but it also has right angle corners. They always have right angles. Squares are the same way. They have right corners. It's the same thing as a rectangle, just with equal sides. Okay? So up on the board, if you take a look at that, you have 4 right corners. Now a right corner angle is how many degrees? 90. So 4 90s, 4 times 90 is 360. So the sum of the interior angles of a rectangle is 360 degrees. Now a triangle is very simple as well, but it has a little bit of investigation to it. Now I have cut out a triangle here, and you notice a triangle is a polygon with 3 sides, therefore it has 3 angles. So there's one here, and one here. And if we were to take those angles off and put all the corners together, every angle corner, you'll notice that they do something kind of special. So I've pulled them all off, and I'm just going to go ahead and stick them on here onto a blank piece of paper, like so. So I got one angle corner, and now let's match the corner of another one so that they meet the very tips. And the last one. Now, I put the corners together, and what do you notice on one of the sides that's kind of interesting? There. How about if I put it like that? Do you see what happens on the bottom? A completely straight line. All the other corners are kind of all, the ripped pieces are kind of messy, but where the corners meet, I have a straight line exactly. Now what's interesting about a straight line? Right? We've already learned a straight line is how many degrees? 180 degrees. So the corners of a triangle all add to 180 degrees. Another way to look at it is 180 in relation to 360 is half. Well, what happens if you cut a rectangle in half? Cut it right here. You get a triangle. So half of a rectangle is a triangle. So half of 360 is 180. So now you know the sum of the angles of both of those. Let's go ahead and apply that to what you have to do in your math, which is kind of interesting. On number 1, it says, if one angle of a right triangle measures 60 degrees, then what are the 2 other angles? One of the angles is 60 degrees. So you have a right triangle, and one angle is 60 degrees. Now how are you going to find the other 2? Now they all add up to 180, right? Well, we know it's a right triangle. That means it has a right corner. Now you're just missing one side. And you could solve any corner of a triangle as long as you have 2 of the sides. Because it could be written like an algebraic equation. 90 plus 60 plus, we'll call it x, we don't know what it is, equals 180. So 90 plus 60 was 150. How much more will make 180? 30. So the missing angles were 90 degrees and 30 degrees. Okay? Let's try it with one more. How about number 3? If the measures of the 2 angles of a triangle are 35 and 70, what's the measure of the third angle? We don't have to draw this out. 35 and 70, so 35 plus 70 is 105. Now how much more will make 180? And if you can't do this math in your head, just find the difference, 180 minus 105. And if you subtract the two, you get 75. I hope that you have been able to understand this very well and enjoy it maybe. And if you have any questions about the sum of the interior angles of a triangle or a rectangle, then come and talk to me. Thanks.